Um, and we know you're as motivated as we are to be fair and provide adequate time to answer, so please watch for those cards. So let's start, and we'll start here on the right and head over, or sorry, my right, that'd be you, and we'll head over to the left, and each candidate with 2 minutes to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their candidacy. Thank you very much. And next?
All right, I guess that's me. So my name's Carson. I just want to start off by thanking the Chamber for hosting this event. It's a great opportunity for us candidates to share our platforms and to be able to connect with the community. I especially want to thank Beth and Kevin for keeping this place going for the last 15 years, especially the last couple of years that have been really tough. While this building is only one story, there are 1,000 stories that have been shared here. All of them written by writers, actors, other creatives who put so much of themselves into their work, and it's such an amazing place to have that contributes to the small town feel of the valley. So a little bit about me. I was born in Texas, raised in Eastern Washington. 9/11 happened while I was a senior in high school, so I joined the Marines the following summer. After I headed out on a deployment to Iraq when I was 20. When I came back, I went to school, met the love of my life, got married, started my career. In 2012, I moved from the eastern side of the state over to here, kind of bounced around Puget Sound a little bit, and then finally in the last 5 years, we decided that Snoqualmie was the place that we wanted to put our roots down and to raise our family. We couldn't be happier with the place that we're at. So, a little bit about me and my career. So I'm a contracts and procurement manager. So it's my job to be the one to be the steward of our company's money and to make sure that when we want to either buy a piece of equipment or software, that we follow the process, and invariably it's a process that requires being the intermediary between a lot of other people. The platform that I have is basically about revitalizing the historic downtown district, fostering a creative environment that allows artists to thrive, and then keeping Snoqualmie safe by working with the police department. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, here's the first question. The city of Snoqualmie currently has a $161.5 million budget and about 90 employees. What experience or training do you have to either set policy for or to oversee an operation of this size? Carson?
Thank you. Thank you, Rob, by the way. So for the last 15 years, my career has been in procurement and contracts, primarily for large businesses. And to kind of contextualize this a little bit, it's whenever that someone needs something, whether it's equipment like software or they need to hire someone for their services, it's my job to make sure that they follow the processes, that we've done our due diligence, and that we put in a good faith negotiation and ensure that we're being good stewards of the money that we have. And invariably, someone's always going to be upset with you, just with all the competing interests that there are out there. And so you have to be the person to find a solution that works for as many people as possible, knowing that at the end of the day, you can't make everyone happy. And I don't think I could find a better parallel for working on a city council, to be honest. So while I haven't managed a budget of direct reports directly, it's been my job to work with the heads of the departments who have these multi-$100 million budgets for ensuring that we're buying them the equipment that they need and that we are delivering what we need to in the right amount of time, and that they're living up to what our expectations are. And I've been fortunate that I've been able to do that kind of at the individual contributor level, which has allowed me to maintain a relatively healthy work-life balance, because that my family has always been my number one priority, and that's kind of the way that I've navigated my career to be able to prioritize it that way. But during my time that I spent in the Marines, I was the platoon sergeant for the company that we were at. At that time, I had 30 Marines that reported up to me, and now I'm out of time. So,
Thank you. So here's the second question. Is in the wake of COVID, the increase in housing prices in the Snoqualmie Valley has risen so high, it has forced our community workforce to relocate outside of the valley. What's your number one solution for affordable housing? And please defend it. Thank you very much. My apologies for screwing up the order here. We're going to go to Carson next.
all right. So I'll admit firsthand, I'm not an urban planning expert here, but I can promise you that I'll listen to those that are. And it's a tough situation to be in because those of us were fortunate enough to buy homes before the prices went up have seen, substantial equity happen, while others are now not able to afford a place. The rents have gone up significantly, and the toughest part about it is that the population of Snoqualmie for the past 2 years has actually declined. And so it's a tough place to be in because we're trying to manage the availability of houses while balancing that against the competing forces that are really what's driving here. So that gets us to the what do we do for a solution here? And that's a tough one because we need to come up with creative solutions. And I want to tip my hat to City Council here for passing Ordinance 1297 just recently to help ease the restrictions on accessory dwelling units. So like mother-in-law apartments or something like that on a lot that could handle it. Those types of solutions are the kinds that I think are best for the community because they are able to be constructed much quicker than if we were to have a completely new construction. It's less impactful on the community and oftentimes is more affordable than a newer construction would be. So to kind of plainly state like what my goals are here, I don't want to see like major apartment complexes going in downtown Snoqualmie. I'm very, very open to hear the mixture of the possibilities we have, ranging from someone's rooftop tent or sprinter van to a yurt to anything else you can think of. I know these are like ideas that are not going to work right here, but the solution is somewhere between, and I think it requires a creative look on solutions that you wouldn't normally expect.
Thank you. And Rob, thank you. Okay, for our last question, we're going to start with Carson. And here's the last question. The city's tax base is tied to property taxes, which has a 1% cap. The cost of services, including wages, is far exceeding that. Do you believe in cutting or prioritizing services or looking at other options for revenue, and why?
That's a pretty tough question right there, because that's a solution that no one's going to like the answer one way or the other. Either you've got to come up with creative ways to find additional sources of revenue, or you do have to make those painful cuts. And that is not what I would like to see happen. Our services that we have that are being provided by our employees they're already stretched super thin. I'll take the police department, for example. They're running a skeleton crew and still providing services to all of us out there. And they're just one of many departments that are doing a phenomenal job of keeping the city going. The idea of cutting those services and leaving those employees without a source of income at a time like now is just the last thing that I want to do. My plan would be to find alternative ways to gather additional sources of revenue, make Snoqualmie kind of more of a place that attracts more tourists, to bring additional funding into the city. I don't feel that the best solution is to keep on developing and then rely on the 1% tax to keep the city's revenues able to offset the expenses that we're having. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, at this time, each candidate will get 2 minutes to summarize their campaign again, and we will start at the end there with Lewis and work our way to Dr. Cotton. Thank you. And Carson.
Okay. So I just want to kind of go back to what my platform's all about. And so it's the 3 core tenets of it are revitalizing the historic downtown district and ensuring that the coming development happens in a responsible manner that preserves the town's small town charm. Number 2 is fostering an environment that allows artists to thrive. And 3 is keeping Snoqualmie one of the safest communities in Washington by working with our local police department to retain our phenomenal officers and attract the new ones who are looking for a new duty station in King County. So the goal is to keep Snoqualmie this charming little city at the foot of the Cascades where we want to raise our families and we feel safe, and it's a place that we can nurture our creative spirits. Now, I know that the way that we're able to do that is going to require some out-of-the-box thinking combined with those that have been here and have the expertise and know how the process works when you compare it with this out-of-the-box thinking. So I want to close with, I know this is kind of a cheesy way of doing it, but a quote from a leader that I really, really respect. His name is James Mattis. And while this is a quote that's aimed at junior officers, I think we can find some parallels here that make it applicable. So it says, any competitive organization must nurture its maverick thinkers. You can't wash them out of your outfit if you want to avoid being surprised by your competition. Without Mavericks, we are more likely to find ourselves at the same time dominant and relevant as the enemy steals a march upon us. Further calculated risk-taking is elemental in staying at the top of our competitive game. Risk aversion will damage the long-term health, even survival of the organization because it undercuts the disciplined but unregimented thinking. Because Maverick thinkers are so important to an organization's adaptability, high-ranking leaders need to be assigned the job of guiding and even protecting them, much as one would do for an endangered species. So I truly feel like my out-of-the-box thinking, which I wish I kind of had an opportunity to kind of demonstrate some of it tonight, I think that that's exactly what Snoqualmie needs at this time where we're kind of navigating some uncharted waters in the near future. And I hope that you trust me at the helm with it.
Thank you.